Welcome to Key Conversations, where you get to connect with the best of the music business, unlocking the secrets to exploding your music career, presented by In the Key of Success. I'm your host, Cheryl B. Engelhardt. The conversations you're about to hear are between our special guest and participants of my MX4 course, the Marketing and Branding, Money-Making, Mentorship Mastermind for Musicians. They are singers, songwriters, composers, producers, and artists just like you, asking their burning questions of our experts while transforming their careers over 6 weeks. If you think this could be you, check out mx4course.com to schedule a free half-hour coaching call with me to see if we'd be a good fit. So, let's get started. And we're back here with Benji Rodgers of Pledge Music, and we're going to pick it up right where we left off.
For the people that might only have 5 fans, people, do you suggest going and getting fans before you start a process like this, or is it a simultaneous one?
So yeah, this is a great question. This is how I view it, right? There was an artist named Jamie Drake. She's a phenomenally talented singer, and she and I had a digital conference, I'll call it, at a diner one night. And I said to her, "How do you reach your fans?" And she said, "Well, I have I think a Facebook account at the time." And I said, "How many people do you perform in front of?" And she said, "Well, maybe 30 people will come out consistently to a show." I said, "How do you let them know about the next show?" And she said, "Well, normally on Facebook or whatever." And I said, "Well, why don't you let them email you?" And she's like, "Because I don't have their email addresses." And I said, "Aha." So I said, "Tonight at your show that you're playing, I'll come, take a piece of paper, write name and email on it, and hand it from the stage to the first person you see and say, 'Anyone who signs my email list tonight, I will send a song to.'" So I showed up at the show with my co-founder, Jace. She'd forgotten. She asked, she was on the mic. She saw us walk in and she was like, "Can anyone loan me a pen?" So someone handed her a pen and she writes name and email on this raggedy piece of paper and she hands it out. And 47 people signed her email list, right? So 47 people cared enough to want to be on her email list to get a song she was going to send them. Now she can communicate with them. So quite often what an artist will do is they'll build up a social following, but then get into this trap of having to pay to reach those people. Whereas with email, you own it. And if someone wants to be on that list, let them be on that list. So to me, if you've got 100 people on your email list and 150 on Twitter and 150 on Facebook, let's just call it, right? You could probably get 40 of those to come in for a pledge of around $55. That's not bad. I think if you start there, if you start with how many people can I communicate with today? If I emailed everyone I knew, how many people could I reach? I've got 5,500 Twitter followers, whatever it is. So I can reach a portion of them. About 200 to 250 of them will see anything that I post in their feed. Whether they look at it, stop, or click is another matter. So it becomes a law of greater averages when you get to that larger side. So ironically, when you're smaller, you can actually reach a very meaningful contact with those few people. So if 50 or 100 people pre-order your record and buy something cool because they want to support you, that's not bad. Just don't expect that you're going to get $50,000 in pre-sales from those 50 people because they'd have to all spend $1,000 each, which again, maybe they will. You don't know. So when we vet projects at Pledge, we don't often say no unless it's kind of white supremacist or sexist or like dodgy. That's an English term, dodgy. We say not now. Or would you like to go for a different target? Because if someone wants to do $40,000 in pre-orders, but they've got 4 people on their email list and they send out through Gmail, do not send out through Gmail. Please do not send out through Gmail. Get a mailing list service. Invest in it. Is the greatest thing you'll ever own as an artist. Treat it like it's your digital gold. Yep. Treat it like it's your Bitcoins, right? And so basically, if you've got so few people on that list, how are you going to reach that many people, right? It's not just, you don't just put the page up and it happens. You've got to work this as well. So I believe that the first thing is start with an email list and and build from there. And if you don't have an email list to begin with, we have data capture widgets. So you can put up a song and say, put in your email and you can download the song. If you like it on Twitter or Facebook, you can unlock more. The social networks are valuable and essential. They are a means of communication. Use them, but remember that you do not own them. Facebook can delete you if they choose, and Facebook will charge you to reach over, I think, 0.1% or something like crazy of your followers. So Facebook, also, it's worth remembering, Facebook and Twitter were not designed to help you sell music. It's not their primary purpose. Their primary purpose is to, scream at celebrities and figure out where traffic jams are. So when you think about these, use them as the tools that they are, but let it begin with your email list. Very few artists get into my inbox. I have to really want you there if I'm there. So chances are, if you're emailing me, it's something I want to get, right? And I'm not just going to sign your email list for nothing. So, when Kay Flay, one of the artists that we work with, emails, she writes the most brilliant emails. I always post them to all my social networks, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, because she writes such good newsletters. And they're always really funny and always kind of engaging. And she's selling music that way. So, it's... You can do a lot with a small fan base if you allow them to participate, and they will help you grow. Their excitement will grow your followers, and then you just got to have a way to lock them in. And email first. I think Facebook and Twitter second. Instagram's huge now. LinkedIn, ironically, depending on your age, is actually a really effective network, because it doesn't have the same EdgeRank problems that Facebook has. So you pretty much see everything that comes in that feed. So it's not a bad place to look. And, so I've seen good traction happen in LinkedIn, depending on age. I mean, you're not going to get, kids into EDM kids in that way. But again, everyone needs to look for a job. Everyone needs an email address. So focus on that. And don't be afraid to launch a campaign for, a smaller amount to a small fan base, because you've got a better chance of reaching them than you do a million people, because then you got a whole different problem on the other side, which is where you got too many people and you got to pay to reach them, and it becomes a whole thing. It's a good problem. Either way, good problem to have,
Yeah. And I just want to tack on, this will be my fourth record that I'm doing through Pledge, but my third record I fan funded just by putting a PayPal button on my website. I didn't want to do Kickstarter. I was scared of not making the goal and feeling like an idiot, and formed it the same way. Here are all the different prizes. And I don't even think I had 1,000 people on my mailing list at that point, but I raised $30,000 because of the super fans and it was really about the experiences, and in the studio, you get to sing on a song. Like, I had all that stuff going. And I think that don't be scared of your small list. I think there are ways to grow it quickly, and especially if you're playing live. If you're not playing live, there's a little challenge there, which we can go into later. But I think
of how many people are like, I saw Nirvana when, or I saw this band when, I got the story. I used to play in pubs with Ed Sheeran, in London. Now he's the biggest guy in the world. So and he, by the way, was a merciless marketeer. Like, you got on his email list, he was amazing at it. He was MySpace generation. He was obsessed with MySpace back in the day. I remember he had millions of followers on MySpace, and it was, unignorable. So, you use the tools that you have. I mean, if you're in a younger audience and you don't gig much, you want to look at, tools like Line and Snapchat, and you want to, look into into whatever new apps are popping right now and see how you can use them to your advantage. Use anything. I mean, kids growing up today do not have the same sense of what email used to be for us, as a primary means. And yet what all of them will have in common is that they all have to have an email address for school. They all have to have an email address to log into bank accounts. They have to have it for Social Security. They have to have it for all these different things today. So there is always going to be an anchor point. And so if you get into that chain, that's meaningful. You still want to go for text, you still want to go for, WhatsApp's going to be powerful for you, that type of thing. Use all of them. But at the same time, know that, to me, your primary is, if I'm letting you in my inbox, it's a special thing. So,
That's awesome. Cool. All right. We'll do Greg for last question. Then I'm going to do a laser round with Benji, if he can handle it. Laser. All right, Greg, go ahead.
Well, I don't even have a question. It's all a great idea. I mean, I kind of want to look into the website and just get to know it better. I don't really have any questions at the moment.
All right.
Perfect.
And the website, for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, it's pledgemusic.com. And if you want to follow Benji on Twitter, is it Benji Rodgers?
It's at Benji K. Rodgers with a K in the middle. My middle name is Kip.
Kip. Benji K. Rodgers.
Yep.
All right.
I warn you, you're going to see coffee tweets, ice hockey tweets, vinyl, bitchy music industry news, particularly as around streaming. My favorite things about the Future Music Coalition. And right now, Bitcoin is to the blockchain as porn was to the internet, from George Howard. So,
There you go.
Here, I have a question. So if we sign up with Pledge Music, I start a campaign, is there like a menu of things to do, or do you like have our suggestions made as to, I'm sure you have some kind of thing to keep people active.
Yep. So basically, when you sign up, you will be brought in. If you sign up through the website, you'll be brought into our team, either out of Boston or if it's in the US or the UK. And that is our secret sauce is our team. They are some of the most incredible people you will come across. And if you engage with them, you will get 110% more out of the platform. They all work too hard. They all just overdo it in every way, shape, and form. And they really got this sense of we do whatever it takes to get it done. They'll also be very frank with you. If you want to go for an outrageous target, they're going to say to you, and their job is to do that, to say, listen, I don't think you can do that right now, or maybe run a noise trade campaign and then do this. I always described it as like we're a website stretched over a music company. And, when we get on our marketing meeting, it's like our artists need this, we need to offer this, like they drive innovation from within. And so you really do get the most out of us if you use us as more than just a website and engage with the team. I'm sure, Cheryl, if you've been engaging with the team, you'll have kind of seen this, but
they're amazing.
They really take it seriously. They really do take it seriously. And it's a tremendous testament to their iron will that they'll walk you through. Again, they're not often going to give you the answer you want, but that's often the answer you need. So,
nope.
And what's great is when you say to them, listen, this is an idea I've had, or, they're amazing. So you'll they're the smartest people I know. They're the backbone of the company, and they will get you through. And if it's not working, you ask them, listen, anything I should do, and I guarantee you they're going to come up with good responses. Oftentimes artists have come to us with ideas that we then implement into the platform based on that feedback. So we need it too. It's very, very, they're amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. And none of them are in the room with me. So
That's great. Yeah, I've been interfacing with Mike, and he's been helping me. I actually was surprised I couldn't change this, and I was like, oh, there's someone else that is assigned to do these things for me. So I actually have to interact in order to get one or two things changed, not because there's no control, but it's because you guys really are doing the users a favor, the people that are the subscribers and the pledgers. But there's a little bit of vetting, and I was like, okay, I can appreciate that. At first, I was like, why can't I control everything, which is my type A control thing.
Yeah.
And I really started to appreciate that, and it almost answered one of my first laser questions was, okay, I've had success in fan funding in the past with no platform. Why use Pledge? But the back end team, the usability, it's all set up for you. It's going to save me hours and hours of coding. I mean, it's just
and Cheryl, also I think what you'll find is that the community itself is valuable. Being in the community of pledgers, we have a recommendation algorithm, and it takes the type of music, the types of products that you're offering, and it will surface within the platform to other users. So certain artists are getting 30 to 40% of their pledges coming from our inbuilt user base, because it's like, you like this, you might also like. And that's really powerful. And that's a big impetus behind the platform, is to make that a really huge feature of it, to where, if we've got 10 artists that are in a similar vein to you, we know who their fans are, and those fans opt in for this. So, it's,
Yeah, I think that is the most valuable thing to me, is growing. I'm not touring very much at all anymore. So how do you grow that fan base when the easiest thing in the past was touring? So that
right there was one of the big reasons why of course I'm going to be using this platform. Just knowing that 30 to 40%, that's a huge percent. So, well, that answered my first like laser question. So my next laser question is what's the importance of the video, and what are the key elements that the video really needs to have?
The intro video.
The intro video that the artist puts up on the page.
The intro video, here's what I'd say is don't bore us, get to the chorus, which is you haven't got much time to get as much in there. Unless you're like a kind of guitar geek or drum geek guy where like they want to go deeper in, that there's that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think just convey why. What is very simple. Why is more important. And say, I want to make the best album because I want to do this so that you can be involved. Give it context as quickly as possible and tell the story of why people should get involved. We all know what's going to happen in the end. It'll come out on Spotify or wherever it comes out. But I think that you should really focus on the why, because that's what makes these campaigns special.
Awesome. Totally. Great.
Is that laser enough?
That was totally laser. I was like, whoa, that was less than a minute. The next laser question is, once you've got your campaign launched, it's approved and everything, other than the traditional posting the link directly to your webpage, do you suggest other ways, like having the pledge video on YouTube? Are people searching other places that you can direct them to the pledge page? How do you market that once the campaign is launched?
Yeah, I would put it everywhere. First thing you should do is email your email list and say, listen, as email list people, you get this first because I want you to have first look at everything that comes out. Then you want to hit all of them. Another one to really try is Apple Connect. Make sure that you post in Apple Connect because you can now link out. And anyone who's bought your previous albums before will see in their feed, if they hit the Connect button, your new campaign. So post the video link in there with a link out. I would recommend using a smart URL so you can see who's coming from where. Mm-hmm. Then I would say you just want to basically ask yourself this. If I were going to launch it tomorrow, how many people could I reach and how many ways could I do that? Post an Instagram photo of the launch and then put URL in the top part. Another pro tip, you don't have to put pledgemusic.com/project/name. You can just put pledgemusic.com/name of the project, because the projects part is not needed. It'll hierarchy that to the project for you. So if you're doing Instagram, you could just write, go to pledgemusic.com/Cheryl B, whatever it is that's going to come out. Yeah. And that way it's a shorter URL to remember. And I would hit all the networks and definitely hit YouTube, of course, so your subscribers see it.
Awesome. It's going to be pledgemusic.com/CBE, but that is awesome.
CBE, genius.
Which is also my Twitter handle, which a lot of people assume that is Chris Brown Entertainment. I am not a rapper. So awesome. Okay, cool. Next laser question. Do you
market though? Maybe you could go for it.
Oh, every time someone's like, "Hey, CBE, have you dropped those new beats yet?" I'm like, "I had just done another piano pop song. I'm so excited that you're interested." I write back to every single one of them, and they're like, "Haha." So that's great. My next laser question is, do you think that people get inundated with choice in terms of how many different exclusives you offer? And is there a prime number of what the number of choices are?
This is one of my favorite questions, and it's a great one. Thank you. So here's the thing. Traditional marketing says don't offer too much, right? But that's assuming that people aren't going to spend much time on the page. I think the opposite is true of this platform. I think they want more choice, and that basically when you go to Amazon, you got one option, and they're designed to get you in and out as quick as possible. Now, we're designed to do that on the back end, so you jam in, but people will add stuff to their cart as well. So to me, I think offering more, but having some that you would reveal later on. So if you start with, let's say, 5 or 6, actually for more, I'd say 8 to 10. I'd start with 8 to 10 offerings and say at 4 p.m. on Friday, I'm going to release 3 more. Then you're using those offerings as a marketing mechanism. So that's a really effective way to go. Start off with a good amount. I believe more is better in this case, and it's a really odd thing, and it's quite controversial because we have this argument all the time at the product team, like, well, is it too many? Because it makes the pages difficult to load because it's got to reset the quantity every time. It's got to scale to mobile, the whole thing. But I think in this case, use more, because the types of things you offer will also offer a greater context for why people should be involved. So remember, you're not just offering standard things. I believe fundamentally it shows the fan that you've thought about what they might want, and or you're open to feedback to offer those things. So I like starting off with 8 to 10 and adding more as it goes along. And you want to have something at every level. Something at the $10 level is essential, but have something for $10,000 as well. And have something at 35, have something at 20. So it's not to reward those who are wealthier. What it's to say is, I'm going to offer 2 handwritten lyric sheets at $20 each for the first people who get it, and the rest of them are 100, right? That's okay to do, because what you're saying is, if you jump fast, you get the reward. It's not about money all the time. It's about, think of it as a marketing, as a way of marketing as well, that will give context to why people should be involved.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And you never want to assume anything about your fans. I mean, I had someone that gave $1,000, and he was a 20-year-old kid who was fighting in Afghanistan. And I wrote him, I'm like, thank you so much for giving $1,000, but why? He's like, well, first of all, I stole a lot of music from Napster when I was in high school. And second of all, yeah, I love that. And he was like, so I feel like I need to pay it back. And he's like, second of all, I literally have nothing to lose. And I wrote him a song, and it got on the record. And you never know. I would have never thought that. And, you pigeonhole people, and you don't know. And if you don't offer it, then they can't have the opportunity. So I go from $10 to 10,000. Absolutely. And some artists are like, no, I don't deserve that. Yeah. Then you have people holding you accountable, which is terrifying. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But, okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I think that's Benji, if you have anything else to add, I think this is a great note to end on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the great questions.
This has been a real pleasure. I'm like taking notes for myself, which is exciting. And thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy, and your team is amazing. And you guys check out pledgemusic.com, and don't wait. You all have something going on right now. So check in, and if you are not sure where to start, like reach out to the guys in the Pledge team, because they'll come up with some awesome stuff for you. So
they sure will.
Awesome. Benji, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, next week we're going to talk with Mr. Patrick Ermlich of the Outlet Collective and talk all things promotion and artist process. Please don't forget to rate and comment on iTunes and Stitcher Radio if you like this podcast. It's the best way to keep it going, get more subscribers, and continue to share this awesome information with the indie music community. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. All of the music on this podcast has been created by yours truly. The theme song is called Inevitably, written with Cameron Ernst and produced by Joey Ock. You can find all the songs, plus more information on my music career at CherylBE.com. If you want to be one of the reasons I can keep this podcast and my blog Living on Gigging going, then head to patreon.com/CBEmusic. There, you can contribute $1, $2, $5 for the creation of each of these free musician resources. Together, we can keep them coming and inspire other creative people to do what they love and do it well. Again, that's patreon.com/CBEmusic. Key Conversations is sponsored in part by Bandzoogle. They make it easy to build a beautiful website for your music. Their step-by-step system gets you online in minutes, and you can choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes and customize them with their easy point-and-click editor. All the features you could possibly imagine for a professional website are built in. So, because you are a Key Conversations podcast listener, you get a special 3-month free trial just for you. Go to www.inthekeyofsuccess.com/resources and click on the Bandzoogle logo to access your free extended trial.